Hello, listener.
Welcome.
Welcome to the Brown Carpet Podcast.
So good to have you here.
Slide your crocs off.
Pull on a pair of tracksuit pants.
And time to get your rocks off.
Okay.
What do we do, Cory? What is this?
Josh, I'm glad you asked that question. What we do here at the Brown Carpet Podcast is we take two weird news stories and we turn them into even weirder movie pitches.
That's a sensational idea.
It's a great idea.
Is that it? That's where it ends?
No.
Good.
Basically, what we do then is we put it out to the listener. That's right. You listening now with your crocs off and your tracky dacks, you get to vote on which pitch you think sucks the least.
What happens to the winner?
The winner, we make a movie poster for it.
That is unbelievable.
So you get to choose which movie gets brown lit.
That is a vibrant idea bristling with possibilities.
Jump on board.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
He jumped over 3 linebackers in midair, sprouted endless, like a gazelle.
No one laughs at a master of quack fool.
Real nice. Many have died from starvation due to the difficulty of finding enough food, such as seals.
Shut up. No more Mr. Nice Duck. That's it. Right, Mr. Sitz?
What do you make of that? You know, it's the most fantastic story I've ever heard.
The Brown Carpet Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Brown Carpet Podcast. You're listening to episode 18 and I'm once more joined by our two-time guest, Mrs. Sally Lopez. How are you going?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me again.
Awesome to have you back.
It's thrilling. It's thrilling.
Well, I guess I should address the elephant that's not in the room. This podcast will mark the first in a few weeks that Cory Farrell will be away from the desk.
Yes.
So I know it's going to be a tough time for all of us.
Yeah. How you doing? How you pulling through?
Look, it's just baby steps at this point.
Yeah.
I've just got to take it one record at a time.
Yeah.
But having you here is obviously a big help. It's making me feel a lot more comfortable.
Good.
I think we should explain to everyone why he's not here.
Absolutely.
Straight off the bat.
Let's do it.
I have with me a letter that Cory wrote, basically explaining his absence. And if you'll just indulge me, I'll just read straight from Cory's letter.
Go for it. Love to hear it.
Okay. To my many, many, many fans, I mean, it seems a little bit presumptuous straight off the bat, but we'll let it slide. But, I'm sure you are all very disappointed that I'll be mostly absent from the show for the next few weeks. But please know this hurts me almost as much as it hurts you. I want to begin with an admission. My whole life, I have struggled underneath the weight of a medical condition that has left me bereft of a bird's nest. The absence of my downstairs garden was a source of much ridicule and mockery during my high school years. Sally, could you imagine?
Oh, God.
Imagine the names that the kids would come up with. It would be stuff like Baldy,
Hairless Wonder,
Smooth Plums,
Shiny Nuts.
Shiny Nuts. Probably. Yeah. I mean, the kids are so evil.
They're so cruel.
I'll get back to the letter. Throughout my life, I have struggled with this situation. I've used Merkins, testy toupees, and even resorted to gluing discarded dog hair to my genitals to impress on a first date.
Yikes.
But in the last few months, a bright beacon of hope has changed the way I feel about my tiny hairless scrotum. During a late-night web browsing sesh, I stumbled across a website for Antonio Banderas' pubic restoration clinic in Andalusia, Spain. Using a time-honoured, strand-by-strand surgical technique, Antonio will refurbish your barren testicular region with lush, powerful hair direct from his own overflowing pubic jungle.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Now, this reverse Brazilian is an expensive, painful and extremely dangerous procedure with only a 25% chance of success and a 65% chance of death. But that's a calculated risk that I'm fully prepared to take, to feel the wind blow through my shaggy ball fur. Thank you all for your love and understanding. Please follow my personal Instagram account for hourly story updates on my journey towards some semblance of manhood. Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
There's a lot to unpack there. I mean, my thoughts straight away are hashtag brave.
Oh my God.
I think what it's doing is really brave.
What a hero.
Yeah.
From personal experience of removing hair, and that's quite painful, but to put it back in.
Can you imagine going back in, strand by painful strand?
My goodness, I can't, I'm speechless. I'm so in awe.
Well, Cory's going to actually call in from Spain later in the episode.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be special. We get to see how he's going with Antonio.
Yeah.
So let's go paper, rock, scissors, shall we?
Okay.
You ready? On 3? 1, 2. That's you.
I got it.
Sally goes first. Did you find a cool news story this week?
I did. It's lots of fun.
What did you find?
Okay. Men use spaghetti sauce to try and start fire after burglary.
What?
Yeah. So so this is another Florida nugget. Thank you, Florida. Thank you, Florida.
What is going? Hey, actually, I found out what is going on in Florida.
What's happening in Florida?
There's a specific law in Florida that's different to the rest of America called the Sunshine Law. It's about the dissection of public information.
Right.
So whatever happens in court is like open slather. You're allowed to go straight on the internet, whereas in all the other states it's kind of kept under wraps. But specifically in Florida, everything that gets said is straight out to public knowledge.
So it's not like what happens in court stays in court.
It's not like Florida just has all the crazy shit happening. It's just all the crazy shit is just for everyone to know straight away.
That's a bit of a relief.
Sunshine law, yeah.
2 men are accused of breaking into the home of a man they both dated, stealing several items, and then leaving spaghetti sauce boiling on the stove with a washcloth placed near the burner in an attempt to start a fire.
Oh.
So it's a pretty cool story.
So calculated.
Very calculated, lots of intrigue. I think.
So hang on, they were both former lovers of the dude?
Yes.
Okay.
So this guy is a bit of a Casanova.
Sure.
And a bit of a heartbreaker.
So what have you done with that ridiculous jumping off point?
Well, obviously it's a crime movie. It's a crime escapade sort of film.
Okay, what's the title?
You can't go pasta sauce as thick as love.
Okay, good, love a pun, love it.
Yep, okay. Right, we're at a Michael Bolton tribute concert. The crowd is dancing, the club is lit. We roll into Steve Irving, played by Barkhad Abdi, who was the main pirate guy from Captain Phillips. You know that Tom Hanks movie? Yeah. So he's dancing to How Can We Be Lovers If We Can't Be Friends with his eyes shut.
It's a classic.
It's such a good song.
Yeah.
Feeling every emotion ever felt. When he opens his eyes, he sees Vernie, dressed in leather pants, played by Bradley Cooper, dancing in front of him, smiling as if he's been watching Steve the entire time.
Yeah, he's got those Bradley Cooper eyes.
Those blue eyes.
Yeah.
Oof.
So hot in here, or?
Hi.
Crack the window.
I know, sweaty palms. So this guy's name is Vernie, and he says to Steve, I like the way you dance, babe. Steve turns around and expects him to be talking to someone else, but realizing that this gorgeous creature of a man is talking to him, Steve blushes furiously. Vernie, why don't we go back to my place to continue this conversation?
Oh.
So we cut to Vernie's penthouse, and he has the ultimate bachelor pad. Leather couches, big screen TV, fur rugs, a heater that looks like a fireplace, and Vernie has all the right moves that make Steve feel like all of his Christmases have come at once. Vernie puts on some smooth saxophone music. He lights up the heater.
A bit of Kenny G in the background.
Something beautiful like that.
Sure.
Yeah. He lights up the heater and suggests that he makes Steve a famous family recipe, spaghetti bolognese. Steve gushes like a little girl. Yes, please. And later, as Vernie spoon feeds Steve the pasta dish, the camera tilts up to the window to catch a shooting star grace the night sky.
Yeah, that's a classy touch.
It's just, it's magic, it's poetry, it's... So we fast forward 2 weeks. Sitting on a hill overlooking the beach, we still hear saxophone music in the background. Vernie pulls out something from his pocket, and Steve's heart skips a beat and thinks, oh my god, he's about to propose. Even though it's only been 14 days, this must be true love.
It's all going so quickly.
No. But then Vernie hands Steve a wad of cash. Vernie says, look, you're great, but I can't love you unless you fix your teeth.
Oh, that's so rude.
Vernie stammers, what? But why can't you love me for me? Vernie says, yeah, your personality really isn't that great.
Oh.
Vernie leaves the cash on the ground and jumps into his red convertible, driving away, leaving Steve speechless.
Oh. Ruthless.
Yeah. Steve, like us, he's completely dumbfounded. He heads directly to the closest bar. He goes up to the counter and orders an appletini and a big jar of sugar that he can eat with a spoon.
Strain it through those big snaggle teeth.
It's kind of like a big fuck you to Vernie, I think. Yeah. So the bartender Jackie, played by Helen Mirren, notices Steve's pain. Who did this to you, hun? She says as she hands over the jar of sugar. Steve sobbing, Vernie! Through big, fat, ugly tears, he relays the whole story to her.
Got to have also your voice as well.
Jackie leans over and whispers to Steve, you know what, Steve? You seem real nice, and I don't like this Vernie person. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I just got out of jail, and I want to help you. Cut to Vernie and John, played by Jonah Hill, sitting on a hill overlooking the beach, watching the sunset, and we hear saxophone music in the background.
Jonah Hill on a hill. I'll see what you did there.
Hill squared. They're holding hands, and then Vernie reaches into his blazer pocket. John's heart skips a beat, and he thinks, oh my god, he's about to propose. Even though it's only been 4 days, this is real love, I can feel it. Then Vernie hands John a handful of weight loss flyers.
Oh.
And Vernie says, "Look, you're great, but I can't love you unless you stop being fat."
Unless you stop being fat. Can you be fat elsewhere?
It's so mean. John stammers, "But why can't you love me for me?" Vernie, "Yeah, your personality isn't that great." Vernie drops the flyers by John's side and jumps into his red convertible and drives away. Cut to inside a bar. John rolls in sobbing. He goes straight to the counter and orders...
Literally rolls in. Fat roly-poly.
He goes straight to the counter and orders a mudslide cocktail and asks if he could have 3 pizzas on the side. Jackie again raises an eyebrow and looks over at Steve, who's sitting in the back corner. They exchange a knowing look. "Okay, hon, who did this to you?" John, "I don't understand. I thought it was love." Then from behind him, a voice says, "He didn't propose to you, did he?" John spins around and looks at Steve. "How did you know?" Steve, "He broke my heart a week before he met you." They exchange sob stories and they agree that Vernie needs to pay for being so superficial and heartless. With Jackie's experience, coming from jail, we montage to her showing them how to jump over a fence, how to cut wired alarms, rolling out the layout of Vernie's penthouse and using G.I. Joe figures to plan out a burglary. They decide if he's without all the fun stuff like the penthouse, the great TV and the fur rugs, he wouldn't be so awful and maybe he could learn a lesson. They crack a plan to steal all of his things and burn down his house while he's on a date with his new lover. Cut 2. Jackie, John and Steve are hidden in a bush with binoculars and they're spying on Vernie. Vernie is leading a young, handsome man, played by Sam Smith, from the convertible into the entrance.
Sam Smith the singer?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Yeah, he's handsome.
Yeah, he's very handsome.
Yeah, and he's skinny. He lost all the weight.
Yep.
So Vernie
good teeth.
Very good teeth.
Yeah.
So Vernie leads...
But Steve's going to find a problem with him. It's that kind of guy.
Yeah, it's just... For sure, absolutely. Vernie leads the new boyfriend from his convertible into the entrance of a fancy restaurant. Both Steve and John gasp. Vernie had never taken them out in public at all. Jackie, "Okay, boys, you know the drill. I'll stay here and keep an eye out. You go, go, go. Get Vernie where it hurts." So Steve and John run to the car giggling with pure joy. Once in the car, John starts ripping off his clothes. Steve, "What are you doing?" "I got a disguise, just in case. I have one for you too." John pulls out a bull onesie. Steve shakes his head in despair. No, this is not what Jackie said to do." John shrugs and decides he's going to wear it anyway.
A bull onesie?
A bull onesie.
Like he's a male cow?
Yes.
Okay.
It's very important.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Of course, why wouldn't it?
Yes.
So this is not one of those cow costumes where you require 2 people, the front half of the cow and the back half.
I wish. No, it's just pure onesie. He had a second one.
Are they both going as bulls? Is that what he wants?
That's what he wants.
Okay.
But Steve's a purist. He doesn't want any shenanigans.
Sure.
He just wants an in and out job.
Yeah.
Following Jackie's instructions, they jump the fence, sabotage the alarm, John in his bull costume and Steve dressed as himself.
Yeah.
They cover the security camera with rags. They take away the TV, the fur rug, and the saxophone CDs.
It's a well-oiled machine.
As they're about to leave, they have one final menacing scheme. They put a jar of cheap pasta sauce in a pot. As the sauce runs out of the jar, Steve and John stare a long, heavy glance. Could this be the real love that they've always wanted? They lean in, and just before they kiss, they both get a text message from Jackie, saying Vernie is on his way.
Oh.
So they turn the stove on, drop a rag by the flame, and make a run for it. Holding hands, we see Steve in the bull costume run to the car and drive off into the sunset, leaving a cloud of smoke behind them.
It's beautiful. I need to ask a question though. Why did he go with the bull costume? I thought there was going to be an explanation about the bull costume.
Oh, okay. Well, this is from the news story.
Okay.
The victim told News 6 that Irving was wearing a bull costume. And that's
a thing that happened?
That's actually happened in the story.
He robbed the house in a bull costume?
Yes.
Well, they got that from the CCTV or something? Or
No. The police pulled them up in a Lincoln afterwards, and he was wearing...
And he was still in the bull costume?
He was still in the bull costume.
That's properly insane.
So it's very essential to the story.
Yeah, I love that you worked it in.
Yeah, he just wanted a disguise, and I guess, because he likes eating.
A disguise? Is that a person breaking that? Oh no, it's just a bull. Keep going, don't worry about it.
It's not John, it's a bull. No. Don't worry about it, keep going, it's fine.
Do you have a tagline for us?
Yes. The crime that will bolognese your mind.
That's excellent. How much do you think this would cost? I think you could do this fairly cheaply.
I think so too. It's kind of got that indie, you know, gritty thing about it.
It's like Ocean's 11 without all the bells and whistles and casinos and
Yeah, we have less famous people.
Costume.
Yeah, it's just I'm going for $5 million.
Yeah.
Which includes Michael Bolton. I'm hoping he'll score the whole song because he knows the saxophones and he knows, you know, the right points of tension with, you know, romance and stuff. So yeah, that's.
Does Michael Bolton play saxophone? Where are you getting all the sax music from? Like, is Kenny G what you had in mind there, or?
No. I know Michael Bolton. He's got a lot of.
He does play saxophone.
I don't know if he plays it, but it's featured in all of his songs.
Right, you find his instrumentalist.
Yeah, like in the film clips, it's like a guy playing the saxophone with his shirt open in the wind.
Oh yeah,
and his hair flowing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of saxophones. With the bolts.
Yeah, cool. I love that you teased us with a potential romance too. That was taken at like just as their lips are about to come together, like snapped away, like with their one chance for happiness.
One chance, but they might hook up in jail. Who knows?
Oh yeah, jail sex. What a happy ending. That's great. Okay, so we've got a call coming through. I believe this is an international call. Should we answer this?
I think we should. How
exciting.
We should
answer this.
Oh goodness, who could this be?
Hello, is there anyone there? Hello, is this Cory?
It is. Have you got a time delay from me being in Spain right now?
There's a little bit of a delay, mate. How is Spain? How's everything going over there?
Well, the rain falls mainly on the plain here in Spain, actually. But yeah, it's great. Antonio's really lovely.
Okay,
lovely guy.
Mr. Banderas is a good man. How's the procedure going? Has it happened yet? What's the deal?
No, I'm getting prepped tomorrow morning for surgery.
Okay.
It's an 8-hour surgery.
Oh wow.
Each pubic hair is singly.
Wow.
Ouch.
Individually rather.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So are these are actually Antonio's personal pubes that he's giving to you?
From his shoulders.
From his shoulders?
How generous though. How generous.
Is that Sally? Hey Sally,
Hey Cory, how are you?
I'm very well, yes, thank you.
Are you nervous, mate? I hear there's a high potentiality for dying under the knife in this sort of procedure.
Oh look, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous.
Okay.
But I'm just keen, because you know I'm a long-term sufferer of pubis alopecia.
Yeah.
Ever since I watched the film The Blair Witch Project and lost all my pubes.
Yep.
This will be me just becoming myself again.
This is the turning point, mate. I'm pretty excited for you.
Thank you.
Such a journey.
I might take this moment, if I can, since I've got a soapbox. I just wanted to bring up that it's quite an expensive surgery. I'm going into a lot of debt to get this done.
Okay.
You know, Antonio doesn't get out of bed for less than 50G.
I can imagine.
So I was hoping you guys could help me with some sort of Patreon or something. We could get something going to maybe we could get people to maybe I'll name a pubic strand after them.
So you could like even give it away like a gift, like with the stars that people do. You know how you give away a star as a gift? You give away a pube as a gift?
Okay, I've got you. Yeah, so people can buy one for their friends. Is that what you mean?
And loved ones, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to, buy a pube for each one of my family members. My dad would love a pube, mum would love a pube. I've got a few aunties and uncles that love pubes. How much are you selling per pube?
Well, look, carry the one. You've got the surgery. You've got Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
I think $100 a pubes is fair.
That's very fair.
That's fair.
That's very fair. To find that underneath the Christmas tree this year that'd be pretty special.
My niece would love it. She would love it.
Would they get like photo updates and maybe the opportunity to write letters to the pubes, anything like that?
I think so. My thing is forget about Oxfam. Don't buy a goat for a family. Buy a pube for me.
Yep.
And feel good that I've got a full bush.
Mate, we've got to go, but look, good luck with the surgery. I hope it really goes well. I hope you pull through.
Thank you.
We'll be thinking of you.
Good luck with the episode. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
All right, mate.
And don't be too good, Sally, because I won't be able to come back.
I promise I won't.
Yeah, it's already not looking very likely, mate. I'm going to be honest.
The bar is pretty low, Sally, so...
I picked too early.
All right, guys.
All right, man. Good luck with it.
Good luck, Cory.
Hang on. I think Antonio wants to say... No, he's busy.
Oh, okay.
All right.
See you, brother.
See you, mate.
Bye, mate.
I've seen pubic hair, man, and never liked them bare, man. I even got my share, man, beneath my underwear, man. Sticking out here and there, man. I've seen pubic hair. I've seen great ones, straight ones, on with dinner plate ones, long ones, strong ones, little curly blonde ones, red.
Josh, what have you got?
This story I found received a fair bit of traction this week. You might have seen it. The headline reads, New South Wales man charged after receiving blowjob on a Wollongong train. Did you read this?
Yes, I've heard this little story.
It's a really amazing story.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't heard it, a New South Wales man has pleaded guilty to obscene exposure after soliciting a blowjob from a woman on a Wollongong train. Fairfax reports that the man was riding a morning service from Port Kembla on December 14th last year when he noticed the female passenger masturbating. He approached her, and after a brief interaction, she began performing oral sex on him.
Oh, God.
He later told police that he didn't pay for it. Afterwards, he used his bottle of Coke to clean himself up.
Ooh.
City Rail staff were confronted with a large and disgusting brown pool of liquid in the carriage that they initially thought was piss, but later discovered to be Coke. I wasn't having a piss, I spilled my Coke. Go and have a look, it's just a Coke, he said to police when they arrived, later admitting that he used it to clean myself up after the blowjob.
Because that's what you guys do, right?
Sure, yeah,
After
that's
sex
very natural.
all the time.
I got a blowjob on the train and I was rinsing my cock off, he said. He today pleaded guilty to both offensive behaviour and obscene exposure and was ordered to pay a $700 fine. That's the jumping off point. I don't know if you read the follow-up story about the girl.
Tell us again, yeah.
So, the headline of the follow-up story is, Woman who sucked off man on a train said she did it because it was her birthday. Spoiler alert, it wasn't her birthday.
It wasn't even her birthday.
No,
It wasn't even her birthday. Because, that's what I do on my birthday.
Yeah, on your birthday, you jump on the train and
so Port Kembla and
suck random dudes off.
Yeah.
Alright, so the title of my adaptation is Magic on the Wollongong Express.
Oh my God, I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
So here we go. Professor Shane Shano is fast asleep on his jizz-encrusted mattress on the floor of his Albion Park trailer home. There is a life-size poster of Magic Johnson on the wall. His mange-ridden bulldog, Hawkie, finishes a frantic flea-scratching session and wanders over to lick Shane's face, savouring the leftover barbecue sauce trapped in his beard. Shane's bloodshot eyes pop open. Shane is to be played by Ben Mendelsohn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
good one.
He's a good crusty fella. Shane drags himself to his feet and sparks a Winnie Red, drawing the harsh tobacco into his lungs. He feeds his dog a handful of mystery mincemeat and fills a greasy hubcap with Cocoa Pops for himself. He opens the Bundy Rum bar fridge, and it is filled with VB, Coke cans, empty milk containers, and half a 2-kilo block of coon cheese.
Ooh, yeah.
It's nice. He decides to improvise and cracks a frosty can of VB to substitute for milk on his cereal. There is a knock at the door. It's his neighbour, Bazza, to be played by Ryan Quanton.
Who's that?
From True Blood, he was the young Aussie guy.
Oh, yeah.
And Bazza is very excited, drinking bourbon through a straw from a styrofoam cup. Did it come? What did it say? Fuck's sake, settle down, cunt. Yeah, it's here. Postie dropped it in the mailbox yesterday, arvo. Within seconds, Bazza has scrambled to the letterbox and back, slamming the envelope down on the table. In between spoonfuls of crunchy chocolate-flavoured warm beer, Shane pries open the official-looking letter from the Australian Research Council. Bazza is trembling with anticipation as Shane's eyes scan the document inside. Shane crushes the letter into a tiny ball and tosses it over his shoulder. Bazza slumps into the chair. He can't believe it. They said no? Shane nods. He's sad, but he isn't surprised. He could wallpaper his trailer in rejection letters that he's received. But this time, it cuts deep. This was his last shot. He poured it all into this last, unsuccessful submission. Shane, despite his appearance and surroundings, is a certified genius. Having graduated the top of his class, he's collected a swag of degrees, masters, doctorates and PhDs. Meanwhile, his circumstances have slowly caught up with him. Each major academic achievement in Shane's life has been marred by some bogan scandal. You can take the scientist out of the trailer park, but you can't take the trailer park out of the scientist.
Oh, that's what they say.
That is what they say. Yeah. On the eve of receiving his first master's degree, Shane spent the night pounding booze on the roof of the university, punching bucket bongs and firing his shotgun into the air. Shane spent the next 48 hours in the drunk tank. On the day Shane was to receive his doctorate, he spent the afternoon carving fully sick donuts into the university oval in Baz's ute, all frothed up on Jim Beam and cheap meth, until the police shot out his tyres and took him into custody. And finally, on the day Shane was to receive his PhD, he was caught on CCTV kidnapping the university mascot, Irvin the Goat. Thankfully, authorities managed to catch up with Shane and recover Irvin, but not before the goat was dressed up in sexy lingerie and given a racy makeover with lipstick, mascara and fake eyelashes.
Sorry, is the goat alive or is it like a sculpture?
No, it's a live goat. Live goat.
Wow.
Yeah, they bring it to all like the sporting events and stuff. It stands on the side.
Oh, okay, so it's not like a fake. It's a real goat.
It's a real goat.
Jeez.
When Shane came out of his bourbon-induced coma, he claimed no memory of the incident and denied any suggestions that he sought sexual gratification. It's fair to say that these incidents have left a dark cloud over Shane's reputation in the scientific community. It's late in the afternoon as Shane pulls up outside a second-hand appliance store where his wife Shazza works. The store has a heavy metal theme and is punnily named Take the Power Vac. Shazza, to be played by Toni Collette, is waiting for him outside the store in her uniform, smoking a lipstick-smeared ciggy. By the look on his face, she already knows the score. She gets in without a word and lights him a ciggy off the end of her ciggy and hands it to him.
That's romantic.
It's so romantic.
That's so nice.
I'm sorry, Peanut. Those science cunts don't know their asses from a hole in the ground. Shane stares stoically ahead. You can't let this stop you, Peanut. This is too important a discovery. It's going to change the world. If they're not going to accept your research, maybe you should just show them the facts. Shane's eyes widen as that last comment sinks in. Show them the facts.
Show them the facts.
Show them the facts.
Of course.
Shane slams the brakes on and the car fishtails to a screeching halt outside Wollongong train station. Thanks, Shaz. I'm going to show them all. But first, I'm going to need you to bite me on the knob. Sharon looks at him for a moment, confused. Then, she smiles a big cheesy grin, revealing the jagged metal braces on her teeth. She flicks her ciggy out the window and buries her face in his clutch.
No!
Outside the car, we hear Shane let out a high-pitched shriek.
How does it go? I think it needs to go higher, Josh.
I can't get any higher. Can you give us a high-pitched shriek? Smash cut to nighttime, and Shane is sitting on the Wollongong train station with a 1-litre plastic bottle of Coke. The Sydney Express train arrives in 5 minutes and Shane is sweating bullets, wringing his hands, looking nervous. On the seat beside him, his imaginary friend Magic Johnson appears, drinking a bottle of Pepsi Cola. Magic! Hey Shane, listen, I just dropped by to tell you that you're doing the right thing. That's my Magic Johnson voice.
It's perfect.
Thanks.
It's exactly the same.
Exactly, yeah. But intentionally infecting myself with the HIV virus seems like an extreme way to prove a point. Maybe so. But somebody needs to show them. I would have done it myself, but the terms of my Pepsi sponsorship deal don't allow me to discuss alternative beverages with the media. I've been waiting for someone to figure this out since the early 90s. But it just seems impossible. Coca Cola is the cure for AIDS? A cheap and readily available solution in every corner store on the planet? The answer was right in front of us the whole time. Magic flashes his iconic smile. Hidden in plain sight, baby. It's magic. The train rumbles up to the platform and suddenly Magic is gone. Shane gets up and limps forward in visible discomfort. Checking the train carriage numbers, he boards number 3269. Inside, from the lower level of the carriage, there comes a low-pitched sexual groan. Shane follows the sound to its source, and there she is, sprawled across a double-seater, legs akimbo, working herself over like a DJ in the middle of a frantic scratch breakdown.
Oh no!
It's Chantel Gobbleton, to be played by Pauline Hanson. She's a notoriously brazen, AIDS-riddled sex worker, known to ply her trade while riding the nighttime Wollongong Express. She looks up at Shane with a crooked-toothed smile. Shane takes a deep breath and approaches Chantel, bottle of Coke at the ready. Outside, we watch the train plunge into a dark tunnel, and we cut to black.
Is there more?
That's the end.
That's the end?
That's the end. Well, we already know what's going to happen. We've seen the news story.
Yeah, but...
So once she gives him AIDS on his bleeding dick, he'll pour the Coke on and the AIDS will be gone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He is a genius.
He's a hero and a genius.
Yeah.
Do
you think Pauline Hanson would like to play that role?
I think it's the role she was born to play, to be honest. I think she'll be amazing.
Yeah, she'll be a nice
maybe we'll make that interaction between them a little bit longer, build up the sexual tension and stuff.
Does she have like a little birthday cake next to her?
Oh, because it's her birthday. yeah, of course. That'd be the only reason why she'd do that. Yeah, definitely, we'll put that in. Yeah, all the candles going.
Give me the tagline, Josh. What is it?
Alright, so the tagline is good to the last drop. which funnily enough was Coca Cola's original slogan back in the 30s.
Oh.
So that's a nice little tie.
That's a nice little tie-in,
So my cast is Ben Mendelsohn as Shane Shano, Toni Collette as Shazza Shano, Ryan Quanton as Bazza, and Pauline Hanson as Chantel Gobbleton. Soundtrack wise, I've got the HIV song by Wayne. Everyone Has AIDS by Trey Parker from Team America.
Oh yeah, AIDS. Yep.
Cherry Cola by Eagles of Death Metal. And then I was thinking the rest of it could be like an original soundtrack by The Cure.
I think.
And budget-wise, I think it's pretty low budget. You know, there's no big set pieces, effects work. It's basically Strangers on the Train, but with more AIDS.
But you know, I think you could get a lot of money for a sponsorship. Coke.
Oh, it's like
would just give you
product placement front and center.
They give you billions.
And what if it turns out it is the cure for AIDS?
You know, with that money, you could probably reincarnate Magic Johnson from the 80s.
He's not dead.
Is he?
No, he's not dead. That's the amazing thing. He's still alive.
He's still alive.
AIDS. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you make him young again with all the technology.
Oh, you're right. You use some CGI.
Yeah. Sorry, Magic Johnson.
You just assume Magic is dead. That's so cool.
I don't know.
He's still a vibrant media personality, Sally.
I don't know my basketball people.
Okay, fine. Well, he lives.
Everyone is dead from AIDS. Everyone is dead from AIDS. From AIDS. Everyone is dead 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 from AIDS.
And that is all we have time for this week. Sally, thank you so much for coming back in.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's been so fun.
It's been amazing. So you now have 2 films to think about. You've got Sally's film.
You can't go pasta sauce as thick as love.
And you've got my film, Magic on the Wollongong Express. If you jump on the Facebook page, you'll find a poll pinned to the top of the page. Vote for the one that you think sucks the least. And at the end of the week, we'll pick a winner and a poster will be made.
Hooray!
Sally, do you have any upcoming shows you'd like to plug?
Actually, I do. I do. They are actually in Wollongong, so if...
Jump on the train, head down.
One of them is in Port Kembla.
Perfect, fantastic.
So you can try your fate on the Wollongong Express.
Maybe get an Airbnb in a trailer park.
Yeah, BYO Coca Cola.
Yeah, make a note of it. What's the date?
Wollongong, it's April 5th at Little Prince, and the following night is at the food truck in Port Kembla on a Friday night, and it's an old ladies lineup. So we'll have lots of penis jokes, I'm sure, and good uses for Coca Cola.
Excellent, sounds fantastic. Awesome. Well, until next week, it's goodbye from me.
And time to roll out the brown carpet.
See you, cunts.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
He jumped over 3 linebackers in midair, sprouted inwards like a gazelle.
No one laughs at a master of quack fool.
Real nice. Many have died from starvation due to the difficulty of finding enough food, such as seal. Shut up.
No more Mr. Nice Duck. That's it. Right, Mr. Sitz?
What do you make of that? You know, it's the most fantastic story I've ever heard.
The Brown Carpet Podcast.